Welcome to 2025, and I'd like to thank everybody who's been viewing my videos by giving a free tutorial on the Anchored VWAP, which I use to buy pullbacks. And also, I hope 2025 brings you much prosperity. This is a special video that I wanted to make using a charting tool, a drawing tool called the Anchored VWAP. Now, I don't use this to trade with every day, but I like to use it on a daily time frame to keep me trading in the right direction. It's called the Anchored VWAP. I know a lot of people like to use the moving averages like the EMAs and SMAs. I use EMAs. So you can use VWAP the same way as you would use an EMA. The difference between moving averages and VWAP is the fact that moving averages just consider price throughout a specific period, but the VWAP uses price and volume throughout a specific period. And the anchored VWAP, which I'm going to show you how I use today, lets you anchor the VWAP to a specific event or date. And I'll go through the video and I'll show you 3 different ways that I have the VWAP on my chart. I never really shared this with anyone because it might be just too much data when I'm doing technical analysis. There could be so many questions that could arise when trying to use a VWAP or an anchored VWAP. So I'm going to just show how I use the anchored VWAP on the macro time frames to help me find a pullback and also keep me trading in the right direction. If you're someone that pays attention to my chats, whether I'm in a Discord or a Telegram that you're a part of, or you watched any of my YouTube videos, you will hear me say many times, as a day trader, most of the time, I trade in one direction. Like right now, I'm only focusing longs because the macro trend is long. I will scalp some shorts now. I probably scalp maybe 3 scalps in the short direction a week because on the time frames that I'm trading on, sometimes they're just irresistible. When I see a resistance level finally being hit after we're going to have a pullback on whatever time frame I'm trading on, I will exploit that short. I'm going to get that money. But a lot of times I'm just focused on my big plays where I think price will bounce from, continuation on the macro trend. So that's what I'm trying to catch right here when I'm using the VWAP. And let me tell you 2 ways that you can use the VWAP. And keep in mind, I'm talking about the anchored VWAP. I'm a pullback trader, so I trade pullbacks. I wait for price to correct, and then I'm trying to get that sweet spot of support or a key level on the chart using all the knowledge of my technical analysis to get in the market off that pullback. I want that discounted price to catch those large swings. Now, institutional traders, I should say, and the big dogs, they buy below the VWAP because they want that discount. So I'm trying to see where they're buying. I'm trying to do what they do as a pullback trader. So buying below the VWAP and selling above the VWAP is how institutional traders, those big market makers, that's how they would use the VWAP. Now, most average traders, just day traders, they use the VWAP to make sure they're trading in the right direction. So they're using it as a trend following trading strategy. For instance, if they're looking for longs, it's kind of like how you see some people say they're waiting for price to get above the 200 moving average, and that's when they'll start taking longs. That's how some people use the VWAP. They want to see price action trending upwards above the VWAP or trending downwards below the VWAP. So with me, if I see those conditions and I wanted to do an intraday trade, I would actually take it, using the trend strategy. But overall, I'm using this on the daily time frame for pullbacks. I don't buy tops of oscillators. Like I'm not going to buy a stochastic that's maxed out. I'm not going to buy a RSI that's maxed out. I don't like to buy the top of Bollinger Bands. Now, in bull markets, what catches people off guard is when these oversold conditions on the RSI, when it's maxed out or the Bollinger Band is maxed out or the stochastic is maxed out, price is like going crazy. And it just catches people off guard because they don't want to buy after price is going crazy in those extreme overbought areas. But that's just how bull runs go. You want to get in before that happens so you're not scared to. But then on the other hand, you have to use psychological strength as a pullback trader to want to buy that red. I buy red and I sell green. It sounds good on paper, but you have to understand support, resistance, and be comfortable with whatever oscillators or trading strategy you use. And I'm not here to sell you my trading team because I have nothing to sell on my trading team, but that's what I teach. And that's it. My pullback trading strategy and how I use my oscillators and how I use volume to wash, rinse, and repeat any trade I want to take, whether it be a swing trade or a scalp on any time frame. I have the same main strategy. And when price gets overextended like it is right now, I've been calling for this pullback right now. I'm on the daily time frame. I already went short up here. I posted my trade when I went short at the 99 area, way up here. And then I got back in on the 97 area, You see where that rejection wick is, where my cursor is? I got in on that. Price went up. I'm on a daily time frame. I entered on the 4-hour and 15-minute though, when I'm looking for my trades. 4-hour support and resistance and 15-minute lower time frame triggers to trigger my trades. But anyway, that was a little off topic. So I want to get back to what I've been looking for. The past 2 months, I say I've been waiting for a pullback into these levels. First, on another chart I have, not on this chart, I wanted a blank chart. This area where my cursor is at, from like 89K to 91K, is what I call a bullish mitigation block. That is a key area where prices came in many times. And also the VWAP is in this area. So we have that key area, and then we have the bottom of this consolidation. This is some data right here, this large wick where price hit. So I drew 80, it's like 85K pretty much. I drew another support line when price came into price discovery. Now we're in price discovery, so things are tough. Like, you have to really know how to navigate this market and use data and understand where price could come back to. You know, you can't have no moon boy fantasies at these points in time and just get reckless, because you could lose your bag. And I mean, if you're in any of the telegrams I'm in, you see people crying all the time on a weekly basis about how they just got wrecked by whatever coin they're doing. And it's all up to this Bitcoin for right now. Everybody starts talking about decoupling, but there's not no decoupling right now. And I keep on saying that. I'm not hating on anybody's moon boy fantasies, and I believe they'll come. But right now, you will get wrecked, especially if you're trading with leverage and these altcoins are moving 40% up and down. Like 40% on, look at XRP, look at Phantom, look at all these coins that people are talking about. They're talking about them now that they pumped. These coins went crazy, and I mean, a 40% correction is nothing. If you're even on low leverage, boom, wiped out. You know, if you even using just 3x leverage and a coin moves 20% against you, do you have the fortitude, if you're using large capital or, you know, more capital than you can feel like risking, you're over leveraged and you watching your bag go down 60 and 70%? Like, you might want to panic sell. So right now, this is why it's important to gauge Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance and USDT dominance. Okay, back to the topic. VWAP, the anchored VWAP. So the anchored VWAP, like I said, I'm a pullback trader, so I want to buy below the VWAP, and I'm not going to buy recklessly below. We're coming up to a support where I said I wanted to buy, me personally, in this bearish candle where my cursor is right here, between 88,700 and 91,500, let's say that. So we're coming up to this support line where price has touched, which coincides with this bullish mitigation block where price couldn't fall through. So right now, I'm waiting to see if I can get deeper into that range that I just spoke, between 91 and 89. I want to see if price is going to reject. I'm going to go down to a lower time frame, start looking for wicks and just other criteria I'm looking at. So that will be below this green anchored VWAP. Remember, I'm talking about the anchored VWAP, not just a regular VWAP. You can anchor this where you need to be. And I'll show you the importance of this right now, because you can see how price came close one time, 2 times, 3 times, and now it's touching 4 times. You see how this anchored VWAP is close to this support area, and also how it can be used as what would be called a dynamic support. If price bounces off of it, it touched it earlier this weekend and kind of bounced off of it. So it's just crazy how something that I could anchor way down here at the Trump pump. I'll get to that now. This is where I anchored the VWAP. So what you want to do is get your drawing tool, and you see I have my favorites. I have anchored VWAP. I have this on my favorites. Now, I anchored it below the November 4th low right here before price just boom went crazy. And I would consider this a order block or a demand area, because you have this small candle and then huge candle. And then you had consecutive candles, just consecutive green. So 69K, I don't care what anybody says, is a key area. I'm not looking at that right now, because I think we'll have up and down price action if we consolidate, if we are to get there, if we are to get there. But I will have a plan of action to put money there. I repeat, I don't know if price is going to get there. This is a key level of support. That's why I have a purple line there. This, I can't remember if this was an order block on the weekly time frame. So this was the bearish order block that I made as a target when I was getting people to buy these weekly order blocks down here in the 50K area that I've been calling since March. I was waiting on that to happen. I called it with everybody. I babysit everybody that follows me. People weren't calling for this during the ETF hype. You can go back to my videos around March, February, or April, when everybody was extreme bullish. Even your top dog influencers, your leaders, were just saying straight moonshot, the ETF is this. I understand if the ETF is good for Bitcoin or the crypto market. I was not against that. I'm just a truthful technical analysis that uses truthful technical analysis to day trade. Now, with that being said, we finally broke through after this consolidation. We broke through this bearish order block. This was a weekly time frame order block. So it's very strong. You see how we came into it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, consolidated a bunch into there. And then we finally broke through after that Trump pump. That was a very important day. That was a very important event. So when I drew my anchored VWAP, I clicked where my cursor is. I clicked right below this wick on this bearish candle before the Trump pump. And that would be the low that I connected it to. Now, when price shot up above this, you can see when this candle closed right here above that VWAP, we had a big candle explode above it. And after that, it was to the moon. It was absolutely to the moon. Yes, people missed out on that. They sure did. And you know why? Because I would be scared to buy. Like, I use leverage. I have spot bags, but I'm speaking on just trading, day trading, swing trading with leverage, using any type of leverage, day trading. This is what I'm here for. I'm not here for just people who want to do spot, which if you have large amounts of money and you were to buy at 50K, you would have doubled your money easily just at that point in time. You know, some people were screaming bear market, you know, when price came there. People were screaming bear market when Bitcoin got rejected, you know, for the first couple of times up here. Oh, 20K, 30K out the door. You know, when price got rejected from these levels, and then it got rejected again, and people were just absolutely calling for the bear market now. But before that, they were calling for moon boy action, where my cursor is, when Bitcoin overshot 69K, went to 73K, you know, March ETF hype. So that just lets you know that the majority of these people that have voices in this space because they are rich and famous, or they were able to gain a lot of followers, go look at my videos, and I'm just the quiet guy in the room that doesn't have any followers, which is cool. I know you get there by putting in the work, but you have to know who to watch. If you watch these people that have these thumbnails that change every day, you know, they have a happy face and a sad face, and then they have like Bitcoin crash today, or somebody rug crypto, and then the next day, oh, look, we're coming back into the EMAs and we're bouncing, and you know, they're up and down with you. Those dudes are either manipulating you. They actually know what they're doing and they're manipulating you, or they don't know what the hell they're doing and they're just regurgitating whatever noobs they're listening to social media. But the rant will be over right there. I just feel like I have to say that a little bit in many of my videos, because you have to be level-headed, you have to be confident, you have to understand what your parameters and conditions are for trading. You know, are you a pullback trader, or are you a trend trader? You tell me. You know, are you investing or are you in trading? That's what some people don't understand. They don't know if they're investing or trading. Me, I don't care about the price of Bitcoin as far as this goes. With my day trading bags, I have my spot bags. You know, I have evidence of when I DCA'd into Phantom at between 20 and 30 cents. That was in the bear market. I have evidence of myself buying Bitcoin at the very low. I'm not rich, but I bought Bitcoin at the low for spot bags. And I added to those bags when I saw we were keeping an uptrend, not to my altcoins, but to Bitcoin. I made an ugly video. It's a very trash, you know, edited video. It's not anything fancy, but at least I put my thoughts and what I wanted, what I showed people, what needed to be happening to see a macro uptrend start and when you would want to buy Bitcoin. But so, okay, so you can see the power of this VWAP. I got a little bit off topic again. So I anchored the VWAP below the Trump pump wick, and you can see how price came back, and almost, if you were on a smaller time frame, you probably could sell or use whatever indicators you have, you know, to see sideways accumulation before the price popped again. But you see how it came close back to this VWAP, and this was an absolute pump. And this is why I say I don't use the VWAP on this type of analysis just to trade, but I look at it because, let's fast forward. Price came close to it. This was a big dip right here. Wick back up fast. Right here came close, wick back up fast. So you can see that this is an area of support. Now I want to buy below the VWAP as a pullback area. I don't buy tops, but I still want to trade in this direction. So I have my support areas right here where I'm looking at, you know, that order block I told you, that mitigation block. So basically this dark red line to this little dash line is an area. And then we have this 85K area. I'm going to sprinkle money at low leverage through here. I don't know what type of money you have. You could be a millionaire. You could have hundreds of thousands of dollars. You could have $50,000, $20,000. I don't know what is comfortable for you, but I'm going to sprinkle 10 to 20% of my trading bag right here at 5x leverage. And I'm doing that because I will cut off my trading if price were to absolutely just decimate through this first area below 88K. I have 10 to 20% in this area, and then I'm ready to deploy 10 to 20% right here, the 85K area, because I believe that price will at least attempt to bounce and come back up and hit its head on the 90K area where this order block is. The previous order block where this purple line is And this dark red line, I believe price will attempt to shoot back up. So if I put money right here, I can rescue my money. If I put money at this 85K area, I can rescue my capital that I put right here in this 90K to 88K area. And if I get scared and it looks like Bitcoin's price will not break through and this area flips into resistance, I can kill my trade, but I already rescued my capital, or I already came into profit. Okay, so that's my plan for right there in that zone. And if at any time this area looks like it's starting to fail, I can, just cut my trade off. I didn't lose as much money as if I just dropped all my money right here, let's say at 90K, and Bitcoin price just keeps coming all the way down to 85K and it looks weak. And I'm like, I get scared and I lose my money because I killed my trade and I'm using 5x leverage. So this is what measure. This is a 7% move between these two support and resistance lines. So that'll be 35% of your bag gone if you just drop it in this area at 90K. All your bag dropped at 5x leverage, which wouldn't be too bad. I mean, that might not be a bad hit to you, or you might have the strength to keep going. But then in my previous analysis, I'm not going to do the whole analysis. I told y'all where my other key levels were. We're just talking about the VWAP right now. I'm not going to do a whole nother trading lesson. You can look at my second to last video. I gave a DCA roadmap and how I would do it. It says that in the title, DCA roadmap, 2 videos ago. Okay, so another way that the anchored VWAP, not the regular VWAP. Another way of using it, some people anchor it at the beginning of the year, so January 1st, or they'll do it at the beginning of a quarter. Like, so after 3 months, when the next quarter starts, they'll anchor it right there, or whatever event might happen or took place. Or if there's some people just like to put it on, let's say you're trading on the daily time frame, 4-hour time frame, whatever time frame you're on, they'll go at a swing low or a swing high. So I wanted to just show January 1st, 24 right here, this large green candle. So I anchored the VWAP below this green candle. You can see basically price went above. There's a lot of volatility, shot above, shot down. Now, whatever oscillators you use or trading strategies that you personally use, I use Bollinger Bands. I saw this wick right here. If I was trading, I could have seen this wick come down, and then I could have dropped to my lower time frames and been like, okay, I want to try to trade back up to the top of the Bollinger Band. If that's my strategy, going from the bottom to the top of the Bollinger Band. Then you have this large green candle. Once price came back above the green daily VWAP, you could have been on the lower time frames and saw that this large green candle got rejected. Then you had another rejection candle and you're like, okay, price looks like it's exhausted. You could be looking for divergences between the two peaks, whatever you're using, or divergences on a smaller time frame. You see that price came to the top of this Bollinger Band, had multiple rejections. You could be using volume, whatever you're looking for, to be like, okay, price is above the VWAP, so I want to short this because I'm looking for price below the VWAP. That's where I'm only going to buy below a VWAP, and this is on January 1st. So this VWAP in retrospect should be the VWAP for this whole year now. So you can tell yourself, if you're a pullback trader, I'm never going to buy above the VWAP. I'm only buying below the VWAP. So when price came below the VWAP, you could have used whatever strategy or methods you use. Like me, I'm a Bollinger Band man. What if I saw this huge rejection wick at the bottom? I'm like, okay, I want to drop some money right here and then drop some more when price touched the bottom of the Bollinger Band again. Using your oscillators, you might have seen a divergence. I'm not giving a trading instruction video. I'm just showing you the different ways that people use anchored VWAP and how it is accurate for those styles of trading. So institutional traders, they're not buying above the VWAP. They're not selling below the VWAP. If you're an institutional trader and you want to sell whatever asset you have, you're looking for buyers. You don't want to sell down here. Why would you want to sell below the VWAP? You want to sell above. You want to buy some asset. You're going to be looking below. You want the discount below the VWAP. So you're going to be looking to purchase below the green VWAP. If you're a trend trader, you want to see price trending above the VWAP. So you can see price pull back below the VWAP, came back. It looked like it was you. See how crazy this is? Right here, where my cursor is. It looked like this was going to be resistance, and it was. Rejection where my cursor is. We had 3 rejections, 4 rejections, almost 5 rejections. So that shows you that these VWAPs are legit. This was a legit resistance. Now, once again, if you're a person that wants to buy and use Bitcoin as a trending, showing it trending above the VWAP, you would have had to drop down to a smaller time frame and see if you could catch some kind of trend when price came above the VWAP, because this was very explosive. And that's why, once again, I am a pullback trader. I don't like it. I'll tell you right now, I don't like buying green candles. I don't like doing that. I trade with leverage and I trade with more money than I'm comfortable doing. You know, using that trading style, I'm not comfortable with chasing green. Okay, that's me. So I'd rather buy a pullback and catch that. I'm just curious to know right now. When is this? When did we come above the VWAP? This is February 7th, 24. Okay, February 7th, 24. Right here, we're on the hourly time frame now. When price came above the VWAP, this is crazy. You can see on this hourly time frame, look at this. This was a legit resistance created by a VWAP that we drew and anchored a month prior on January 1st, and it just acted like a dynamic resistance. This is crazy. You can't tell me this is not a great drawing tool. Okay, price got rejected and it just sharply. I mean, if you are a day trader and you were scalping this, I mean, you're using this to just scalp. I mean, you see the rejection wicks, you see the Bollinger Band rejections. I mean, you could have used this to run some shorts. You could have dropped down to the smaller time frame to use your shorts to run sharply. See this wick popped out the Bollinger Band? You know that's part of my strategy. I even did that this past weekend. Put your stop loss above the wick. You know, if you're using leverage, hey, let it go. If you would have put your stop loss above this obvious VWAP where I'm circling resistance and the Bollinger Band rejection wick, this would have been an obvious play. Okay, so now this is a breakout. Price had a wick, right? This is those little games when the price is breaking out. I'm not a breakout trader though. I'm not. Sometimes I'll do it, but I don't like to. Pullback is my way, but everybody finds their own way. So here we go. Price finally made a candle closure above the VWAP, but it still didn't take out that wick. And then this little red candle like retested, touched the VWAP, and boom, broke out again. So if you're a breakout trader, I understand breakout trading. You wanted this wick right here to be taken out, and it was taken out. There was a retest, and then it was taken out. Candle body closure. It took out all these wicks over here. So you could have gotten the market. You know, the people with large money that trade spot, they don't have to trade leverage if they don't want to. You know, people that got those big crazy bags. I mean, if they put like 200K right here with a stop loss, this is only a 1% stop loss. You know, they want to put the stop loss below this candle or below this wick. I mean, they're only risking 1%. If you were using 5x leverage, I'd have been a 5%. You know, and price just absolutely went crazy. And you see price just went crazy. We're still in the hourly time frame. Price came back, touched the Bollinger Band. If you still weren't in the market and you just don't want to FOMO, you know, whatever indicators you're using, divergences, whatever. Me, I'm a Bollinger Band, man. If you want to take a gamble right here, we're above the VWAP. If you're a trend trader, this was the area where you could have seen a little small pullback and you could have been like, okay, there was a rejection wick right here. Price stopped at the Bollinger Band, had an engulfing candle. This green candle engulfed the red one. That's a whole nother candlestick trading pattern, engulfing candles. You know, there's a lot to learn when trading. I'm just going over the VWAP and showing you that is legit. So whatever you're seeing off the Bollinger Band rejection and then an engulfing candle, that could have been an entry. We're above the VWAP, so you're focusing on longs, and price just absolutely moons. You know, from that time this breakout was at 43,000, where my cursor is, that was the VWAP breakout, and price never came back. This is the January 1st anchored VWAP. Until now, this was all months of big money to be made. And here we go again. This is the hourly time frame. You remember this 56K. Price came back, tested this support below the VWAP. If you were a pullback trader, you saw price come below the VWAP, fight in this area, hit a support line. Even if you didn't know this was a support line, look at this. Look at all these wicks and touches. Off the support, it's below the VWAP, rejecting off the Bollinger Band. If you're a pullback trader and you were using this same VWAP to get into your trades, there you go. There was your shot. The trend traders, price stayed trending, for instance, above the VWAP. Here was a support at 60K. We already know that 60K was like righteous support. A lot of people played 60K many times. I even saw them in the telegrams. You know, people kept buying 60K. Anytime price came to 60K, they were, I'm buying 60K. So there is confluence above the VWAP. If you wanted to use a support and resistance will always be the basis of my trading though. If you don't learn trends and also basic support and resistance, which I made a short form video to show you how to do it, literally a 1-minute video. I show you how to make your points of contact to find the best 4-hour intraday trading support and resistance, so you could scalp from smaller time frames, and it works on larger time frames. So you can go check back my videos. Pretty much in all the videos I make, even if they're very short videos or long videos, I give some type of trading knowledge. You know, it's worth watching as I give my technical analysis. So let's see. So that was just another confluence. Price is above the VWAP. You're on the hourly chart, daily anchored VWAP. This was confluence to go long again at support. So now you're just understanding how, if you're a pullback trader or a trend trader, these are the different ways that you can use the anchored VWAP on a high time frame. You know, if you're only going long above the anchored VWAP, look for support. Look for price to hit support above the VWAP. And this will be the opposite. Let's say the opposite scenario, price started trending below this green VWAP. If it's trending below and it comes back up and keeps hitting its head on 56K, it might not make it to the green VWAP. Let's just say hypothetically it keeps hitting right here. I'm looking for short position, so let me try. I keep seeing rejection wicks, Bollinger Band rejections below the VWAP at a resistance. This will be go short. We're trending below the VWAP. Fast forward, price came back and tested the VWAP again, acted as a support around 60K, bounced. I mean, if you were paying this bounce, would this not have been money for you? If you're a trader, we're not talking about just swing trading. We're talking about you trade every day that you can trade, you trade. There's the VWAP. If you're using this VWAP as your trading strategy, you have to understand what I'm saying. You drew the anchored VWAP, and now your trading strategy for the year was either buy above the VWAP. If you're a trending trader and you're looking for confluences for price consolidating or bouncing above the VWAP, you would take those longs. If you're a pullback trader and you're waiting for price to pull back into the VWAP or below the VWAP and find evidence below that is going to keep trending upwards after the pullback, you would want to buy below at the VWAP. And right here, price touched, had a rejection wick and a candle body closure perfectly. 2 candles, the body did not want to close below. It's crazy that this anchored VWAP that was drawn on January 1st, and this is June, acted perfectly as a support for a trade. I mean, I normally trade with 5x leverage when I'm going heavy. So if I'd have entered on this candle body close, this green bullish candle, after that rejection wick, and I said, I just want to into the top of the Bollinger Band at least for a day trade, this would have been 20% profit. So let's say you're trading with 10K, 20%, that's $2,000 just by looking at the VWAP that you drew on January 1st. Once again, pullback trading style, prices below the VWAP. For me, I had order blocks, those weekly order blocks at the 50K area to 48K, I think was the order block. And then the other ones in the low 40s, the order block that was in the low 40 area. That's where I was looking for a pullback, me personally. And I have those videos. If you scroll back from March to, I guess, September, you will see that I traded those. I put my live trades on there. That's what I was looking for. And this, if I was using the VWAP as confluence, I'm looking for a pullback below VWAP. I want a discount, and I'm looking for evidence that price will get back above the VWAP and continue the trend upwards. I played at 50K, and I have videos that say it. I know people were mad at me because they didn't, but I don't know why they didn't. So every time Bitcoin came into these order blocks, I played. And once again, price pulled back below the VWAP. I was ready to DCA. I was prepared to DCA from this point down to the lower order blocks, which could have been as low as, I think it was like 40K to 42K or something. But I was ready to stuff money all the way down to that area close to liquidation to protect my bag to the next order block. And I wish it would have happened, you know, but hindsight is 2020. And it didn't happen, but I put enough money in the market at 5x leverage to make me happy on these plays. You can trust and believe. So yeah, price is back above the VWAP, and this is I think this yellow line is a weekly time frame trend line. But once again, pull back below the VWAP, found the support again in the 50K area, pop back up, price went up. So you get the gist. This is the hour time frame, and you can just see how many times that this daily VWAP was tested. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna draw another one on January 1st. But right now, I'm still looking at that Trump pump VWAP. So let me go back to the daily time frame. I was on the hourly because if you're a patient trader, and I mean, you were just looking for those pullbacks to make plays, then the VWAP literally would have guided you, on that path. Now we're back on the daily time frame. Let's go back to the very bottom of the bear market. 22. This is the Bitcoin bottom, 15K area. I anchored a VWAP right there just to show. This is the bottom. Price went above the VWAP, came back down below the VWAP, hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Now, if you were a pullback trader and you're looking at the daily time frame, I think there was a huge bullish divergence from this peak to this peak, if I remember correctly, and that could have been confluence. And then price came below the VWAP, hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band. I want to buy the discounts. I don't want, to buy above the VWAP. I'm a pullback trader in the market below the VWAP. This was an easy stop loss right here too. This was a 1.79% candle. So playing this rejection wick, putting your stop loss below the wick, this would have been like a sniper entry to enter the whole bull market. You didn't, let's say you're a pullback trader like me. Price come back into the VWAP right here. Perfect rejection wick. Look at this. Perfect body closures above the daily VWAP. perfect. You can see, and it's on the outside the Bollinger Band rejection. So you can see that this could have been a time to put money in the market. Easy stop loss parameters, a wick below the wick. So there you go. That is what you call textbook anchored VWAP. This was a long video, but once again, like I said at the beginning of the video and in my other video where I mentioned how I use this anchored VWAP, is I use this to let me know I'm trading in the right direction. So if Bitcoin is just above, you know, and Bitcoin is showing strength and it keeps pulling back to the VWAP or above the VWAP, and you see evidence that the price is going to keep going upwards and it's above the VWAP, you're going long. If you're waiting for a pullback, let's say you sold your position or you're too scared to get back in the market and you're like, I just want to try to find my best entry back into the market. You know, you wait for price to come back to the VWAP or below the VWAP, and then you enter your positions. You know, so me right now, I'm going to go back. We're going to fast forward. This is the Trump pump VWAP right up here. I showed how it was legit. Price come back below it, tested it one more time. Look at this rejection wick right here at this support. This is the Trump pump. So this is how price is being affected by the Trump pump. You can see how price is even playing around right now on a daily candle right here. So I'm going to be ready to make an attempt to deploy some capital. And if you watch this video, maybe you will copy what I'm trying to do right now. I want to catch a move from this correction on back up. And if I get scared, I will take my profit. I always pay myself. If price looks like it's going to reject, let's say price comes back above. If I'm able to get some DCA money below 91K, down to 88K, maybe even down to 85K, and price comes back up and breaks 91K, 92K, and comes back up and rejects at 99K, and I take profit, price comes back down to this trend line and this support at 73 where price broke out from, you can go watch my previous videos, then I'm going to play again. I'm still below the VWAP and I'm still in the uptrend. So that's why I use the VWAP to help me gauge what I'm doing. But if at any time these key areas on the chart look like they're becoming resistance and the VWAP becomes resistance, and I start seeing different indicators and influences that I use to trade, and the VWAP looks like it's becoming resistance, I'm going to be running my shorts to lower targets. And I will recap back to, this is the Trump VWAP. Right now, the Trump pump VWAP is at like 64K. Also, this was key area, the 60K area, and there's also an order block at that area. Then we have this bullish mitigation block where price could not 1, 2, 3 times. Price cannot go below 53K. Then this is that lower target. This was an order block that never was touched. I'm not saying these have to be touched. These are my bear market projections. And you can see that what's right here in this area, there is one of those daily VWAPs right down here. And here goes, I think this was the bear market VWAP. The bottom, Bitcoin absolute bottom in the 15K area, this was that VWAP at like 34K. So I'm not even thinking about those right now. I'm not even thinking about those order blocks right now. I will absolutely crush this market. If Bitcoin starts trending, consolidating, playing around here, spiking up and down, I will destroy this market and any traders that are going against me. But this was an anchored VWAP video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something and it helps you find trading direction in those very dark hours when you're not knowing what to do and you're scrambling on YouTube trying to figure out advice. This video might help you. Happy trading, and I hope everyone has a successful 25 because it's right around the corner. Peace.